Let me begin by saying we want to applaud the governor for taking steps that, first of all, recognizing some of the achievements that we've achieved together by working together among Democrats, Republicans, and bringing about significant investments in restoration and education. Looking to some of the things that have been done in the opioid crisis, trying to address those measures. Looking at what's been done with transportation funding and investments that we've made along those lines. And looking at some of the other things that we've done in a strong bipartisan way. And his call for having all of us work together with an emphasis on continuing to try to grow jobs. There's some 82,000 jobs that have been created in the last 2 years. We need to build upon that. And we've got to make certain that folks connect back to the workforce and the opportunities. That's what folks are asking us for, an opportunity to be connected back to what we do and to make certain that members of the General Assembly and people in government provide the services that they need along those lines. So we got a number of folks here who would like to speak, but I want to first bring up our Appropriations Chairperson, Senator Vincent Hughes, is going to provide some more specific details about the governor's proposal. Senator Hughes.
Thank you very much to our leader, Senator Jay Costa. I think what the governor provided for us in a very difficult budget environment and recognizing the political reality of majorities in the House and the Senate by Republicans, and of course the governor holding the governor's chair, is a smart budget, a sensible budget, a thoughtful budget, maintains the priorities of the people of the Commonwealth with continued funding in education, maintains the priorities of the people of the Commonwealth by continued funding and increases, especially in the manufacturing area, for jobs and jobs creation. A very pointed statement and a growth in his original proposal around the minimum wage, where he used to be at $10 an hour, growing to that program to up to $12 an hour. I think that's smart. I think that's thoughtful. It realizes the smart things that we need to do with respect to how we formulate our state, merging various aspects of state government, trying to streamline the operation, make it more sensible, make it more friendly. I think the reality is, though, is that as we go through trying to get a smart, thoughtful budget done on time, is that there are other issues that are permeating this building that are the backdrop of all this conversation. As you can hear behind me, conversations about women's reproductive rights. We've had to address Republican intentions to really destroy our jobs programs here in the Commonwealth, specifically providing unemployment compensation and putting out 600 people out of work. That is the backdrop that we try to put a smart, thoughtful, and sensible budget that the governor has provided for us today. It is surrounded by these other very challenging issues that we're going to have to figure out how do we get through over the next several months. Budget hearings, appropriations hearings begin in a week. We'll be going in great detail about each and every one of the line items that's been provided. But I think this is a good framework that the governor has provided for us to go forward. Maintains priorities in education and job creation, recognizes that we got to do things smartly here in the Commonwealth in terms of how we structure state government, but also understands that the backdrop that we're confronted with is some very polarizing issues that go against the direction that the Commonwealth and the people of this state want to go. Senator Costa, thank you very much. May I ask our chairman of our Finance Committee, who's already been playing an integral role in the first 2 weeks of the administration of this new year in terms of certain tax laws. I'm going to ask him, Senator John Blake, to come forward right now. Senator Blake.
Thank you, Vincent. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that this budget address by the governor was the most conciliatory of any that he's made so far, calling attention to where bipartisan efforts have delivered for Pennsylvanians, and also calling attention as to where our arguments have impeded progress for Pennsylvania. The governor has heard Pennsylvania because he has put together this budget insisting on no broad-based tax increases in the personal income or the sales tax. I think that when he came into office several years ago, he undertook efficiency measures that were meant to save taxpayers money and guarantee better performance. Those measures are paying dividends now and are perhaps the most important element of the current budget cycle, because he's planning on accelerating those measures in the consolidation of state agencies and in getting rid of duplicative services. The governor has claimed, and I think legitimately claims, $2 billion of savings. $2 billion with the B. That means we are trying to live within our means, but at the same time, he says we have to be smarter in the delivery of services, and if we are smarter in the delivery of services, even if we consolidate, even if we streamline, our citizens should not see a diminishment in the resources upon which they rely in public education, in human services for our seniors, for persons with disabilities, for those that are suffering in the tragedy of the opioid addiction, and in economic and community development, because the state does play a role in leveraging private investment and workforce development for economic growth. So I think the governor, again, was very conciliatory. I think he's asked for some cooperation, some dialogue, some participation, and that the majorities meet him. There are things he did not mention. There are things he did not mention. He did not mention state pension reform. We've been working with the Republican majorities for several years on this issue. We have a way forward. I think we can find responsible reform, and I think we're ready as Democrats to stand up and meet that challenge. He did not discuss property tax relief. This is an issue that this caucus has been advancing and that we even called for a special session on because we think it's an important issue to propel this budget process. I think it's important that we keep that somewhere on the front burner because I think it's important for the health and vitality of our communities. So I congratulate the governor and his team. He did say he would defend Medicaid. The governor said that today. I think he wants to protect the protections that have already been realized by our people, and we stand with him, ready to work with our colleagues in the Senate and in the House to get this done and to get it done quickly. Thank you.
How you doing? Sharif Street, state senator from representing Philadelphia County. I was pleased that the governor continued his commitment to investing in education. I was pleased that the governor did not forget the most vulnerable citizens in Pennsylvania throughout the Commonwealth who are plagued with the addiction from the opioid crisis and all of the other things that folks are getting addicted to. I think that it was important that as the governor found internal savings, he did not abandon the commitments that so many people and that we hear the voices echo around us are committed to. And I think as we move forward in this process, it's important that we not only think about how to govern in a fiscally responsible way, but that we remember the folks here who rely on Medicaid, that we don't forget the basic civil rights of the people whose voices echo our chamber, and that we make sure that we take care of the people that sent us here. And so I'm pleased, after hearing the governor's first presentation, that while he recognizes the challenges, as not all members of the General Assembly share his values, that he's still been committed and steadfast in funding education and taking care of Pennsylvania's most vulnerable citizens.
Okay, anybody have any questions for the members who are here? Any questions? We heard it loud and clear. We support your efforts, as Senator Blake said. The governor's committed to maintaining the work that's been done. This caucus, along with many others, led the effort to make certain that we expand our Medicaid 2 years ago. We'll continue to fight for that because we believe that that's what's appropriate for the people of Pennsylvania. Any other questions from anybody? Okay, folks, thank you all very much. Our members are available if you want to do individual conversations. Thank you.